Hi, good afternoon, and welcome to Cooking Uncovered. It's Miriam here, and this afternoon I'm making soup, and the strangest thing has happened. All of a sudden, it's nice and warm outside. Yesterday and the day before, it was freezing, and all I wanted to do was make soup. So now today it's warm out, but I want to make this soup because I've already roasted some vegetables. I want to show you this. So this is a 6-vegetable soup. It's a roasted vegetable. So what I'm using today is onion, a banana squash, I'm using a butternut squash, some fennel, which is amazing, parsnips and carrots. So I'm going to get started. And of course some garlic. We've got to have some garlic. So I'm just going to pop about 4 cloves of garlic right into my roasting pan because I'm going to roast all these vegetables. This pan though, I'm going to start the soup because it's actually time to get going because I do have vegetables already roasted. So into this I'm going to put some onions. So I need a spoon. So I'm going to saute the onions here. Here's the other half of my onion. So you just, a real rough chop because actually at the end I'm going to puree this soup. And that'll just sort of help all the flavors marry together. It's going to be delicious. So chop up the onions, just very rough. And they're in 2 tablespoons of olive oil. So I'm just going to let these saute away, and I don't want them to burn, but I'd like them to kind of get nice and toasty brown. It'll add to the flavor. To that, I'm going to add a couple of cloves more of garlic, and I'm not going to bother chopping them. I'm just going to throw the garlic in as they are. Just two cloves. Throw it in, and that'll saute nicely. So I'm going to stir that around. Now, let's get to the beautiful part where I am going to roast the vegetables. Now the outer skin of the fennel, this is quite ugly, so I'm not going to use that. So I'll just use this part. So I'm just going to quickly chop this up. I don't really want to use all the ferns and stuff, so just don't worry about that. So that goes into my bowl, my baking dish. This is the banana squash, and you actually do I bought it like this. So you can buy this. This is about 89 cents, and it's a perfect size for what I'm doing tonight. So I'm just going to quickly peel that, get all the outer peel off. It's got some stuff here. It doesn't even matter. So that I'm going to also chop up. And again, it can be a rough chop as well because you're roasting these. So nice big chunks is fine. So that goes into the pan. Here's my butternut squash. So that's half a butternut squash. I'm going to take the seeds out, of course. Just take that out. And save that or throw it away. It can go in the garbage or, of course, in the compost. So, don't be afraid of leaving them in big chunks because we're going to toss it all in olive oil anyway. So that's your butternut squash. Big chunks. I have my carrot already peeled. You can add more carrots if you want. I just happen to only have just 1 carrot left. Parsnip gives a great taste to this soup. So I'm going to finish peeling the parsnip. See the skin? So you want to peel it to get rid of the skin. So just same thing though. Peel it and then throw it in. Rough chop. And then I have a large onion that I'm also going to put in. So let's stir this up. So I'm waiting for the onions to sort of, not really, but sort of, get to that point where they're just before they're, I want them more than sauteed. So that goes in. I've got my garlic here too. Now onion. Onion is always a nice option to put with your roasted vegetables. And this is a nice big onion. And nowadays, Carl is the grocery shopper in the house, and he buys the big sack of onions because I go through them. I mean, everything I do, I seem to use onions. So we always have lots on hand, and they're great. They're really good to have because if you're not up for cooking a big meal, you can just make a quick soup as long as you've got onions, carrots, and celery in the house. Make yourself a really quick mirepoix, and you've got a great soup. So you don't have to go to all this trouble every time you make soup, of course. You don't have to roast the vegetables, but this is amazing. All right, to this, you want to add olive oil, about half a cup of olive oil. You're going to salt and pepper these. And I'm going to put a little bit of bouquet garni, which is actually parsley, thyme, basil, oregano, and bay leaves all chopped up and ready for me. So there we go. So we're just going to stir that around, toss that up, let them go. That goes in the oven. And out of the oven comes the vegetables that I roasted last night. And here they are. And I'll show you those. So those go in my oven. Now, this is perfect because my onions are now starting to brown a little bit. And that's exactly the way I want them because I want to use some red wine to deglaze. So I just want to show you this. Oops, that's hot. So I made these last night, but I did want to heat them up again because, of course, they saw it, that you can blend them easier. So here's all the roasted vegetables. So there's the carrot and the onions and the parsnips. Lovely, huh? So that's all going into my soup. So I'm going to pick that out with a spatula. So in goes all of my roasted vegetables. I'm going to actually move my board, and then I'll have more room. There we go. Okay, in goes my roasted vegetables. And the garlic, which I've already done into this, you squeeze the garlic out into your vegetables after it's roasted, and it just, oh, it's so delicious. Absolutely delicious. So that all goes in. Now I'm going to turn the heat up, but now I want to saute that with my, there we go. So I want to saute that with my other onions. Can you hear the sizzling? And this is what it looks like in the pot. It's a beautiful mixture of all these beautiful vegetables. Now to that, I'm going to deglaze with about half a cup of white wine. Perfect. That's going to bring all that beautiful, luscious brown caramelization out into the soup. And to that, I'm going to add 900 mLs of my, now this happens to be vegetable broth. If you want to add chicken broth, go right ahead. So, in goes my broth. All of it. And that is how easy soup is to make. Seriously, folks. Now, what I'm going to do with this now is I'm going to bring this up to the boil. Then I'm going to let it simmer for about 15 minutes. You don't have to use a lot of time now on the stove because your vegetables are already cooked. So up to the boil, simmer for 15 minutes. I'm going to puree it, and I'm going to serve it with some luscious either crackers or my homemade focaccia bread, which is delicious. And that's my beautiful soup for the week. So my savory soup for the week for now, the hot weather, which is my 6 root vegetable soup. So I hope you enjoy it, and thanks for joining me on Cooking Uncovered. And I'll be back to tend to that, and I'll show you a picture of it when I'm finished it. So thanks for joining me on Cooking Uncovered. Have a great Friday night. And my blog spot where this recipe will be is cookinguncovered.blogspot.com. So I hope you enjoy it. Of course, here I am on YouTube again, and thanks for joining me. Bye-bye.